So I missed the England game last night. How did Ben White get on? Good morning, 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 everyone. How are we doing this morning? Fine Saturday morning. We are here. We are live. We are live once again. Once again, we are live. It is the Big Arsenal Breakfast Show. It's a morning brief show on a Saturday, live 9 a.m. coming to you from the salubrious surroundings of Babs HQ. What a night of absolute ridiculousness. I don't think I've even calmed down yet. Something got me last night, which we will talk about in a moment. Something got me so riled last night. It got me so riled. I just wanted to grab hold of my plums and squeeze them until they burst. How pissed off I was. I'm still pissed off now. I'm still so angry. Anyway, we'll get into that. I'm Edwin Ash. Good morning. How are we doing? Thanks for joining us. You can get involved, as ever, in the show. Have your say on the shenanigans that took place last night. You can have your say if you want to jump in the live chat, or if you want to comment on the show, we'll read some comments out the next day. We always do that. Or if you want to get involved in the socials, which are right in front of your nose now, which are at Big Arse Breakfast on TikTok, at Big Arse Breakfast on Insta, and at Big Arse Brecky on X, and at bigarsebreakfast.bsky.social. That is where we are. I should say, at the moment, with TikTok, for whatever reason, we don't know, we are currently in jail. So if you've been following us on TikTok, you're like, this guy hasn't posted anything for a couple of days. You know why? And I'm trying to sort it out with TikTok, and they keep coming back to me and saying the same thing over and over and over again. I think it's automated their support because they keep saying the same thing, and I keep saying, no, definitely not working. I've tried everything to get out of jail, and I don't know why we're in jail in the first place. I honestly don't know why we're in jail in the first place. Probably because my takes are too darn spicy. Oh my God, those takes. Oh, those football takes. We can't be having you on TikTok saying things about football in that manner. You must be banned, I say. Banned and ostracized and kicked out of the country. That wouldn't really work, would it? But yeah, TikTok, we're in jail. It's really annoying. Really, really, really annoying. So I can't post anything, and they keep sending it out. You know, another thing to be annoyed about this morning. So on the show today, wonder what we're going to talk about. Ben White. We're going to talk a little bit about Ben White, as it is the topic of the day. We're going to talk a little bit about Premier League clubs potentially rounding on Chelsea, and maybe some kind fixture fallings for us as Arsenal fans and the Arsenal. There's some interesting stuff surrounding Premier League fixtures that have been moved. So yeah, a lot to get through. Yeah, okay, let's start with the Ben White thing. Come on in, let's do it. Oh boy, where to begin? So, Ben White, as you know, played for England last night. He came on in the 69th minute and he was booed. He then scored in the 81st minute and he was sort of booed and celebrated. And then he conceded a penalty in the 93rd minute, which I think is a harsh penalty. It was soft, wasn't it? I think we'll all agree it was very, very, very soft. But, you know, that's the way it goes. But really, the booing thing was the theme of the evening, and were they saying boo or booen? I was saying booen. So let's recap the issue. So God, again, we've been doing this all week pretty much, but it's just another story that won't die, and I can't think why. The booing thing, right? So Ben White, back in Qatar 2022, left the squad. He left the squad because he had a falling out with Steve Holland. It's widely reported at the time that Steve Holland tried to mock him or did some pretty awkward stuff in front of him, to him, and in front of the other England players. There's some other rumours around that whole thing, which I won't go into, but what's been widely reported is that basically Steve Holland called out Ben White for his attitude or his statement that he said he didn't watch football in his spare time, which he's well within his rights to do. So there was an awkward moment. Things were said. Ben White decided to leave, and that was the end of that, right? Gareth Southgate then later offered an olive branch. I posit because he knew that Steve Holland had stepped outside of his remit. And Ben White politely declined and said, "No, I'm okay. Thank you very much," and opted not to be available for England, despite Gareth Southgate approaching the club and saying, "Look, would you like to come back?" and all that sort of stuff. So Gareth Southgate even knows, really, that there's a bit of a fuck up and we'd like to solve this issue. But Ben White, within his rights to say, "No, I won't play for that regime again." Right? So that was the end of that. Now, the story died on its ass, really. Ben White gets called up again, and the media decide to go, let's rehash this old shit, put it to the front, bring it to the fore, and see what kind of rage bait and clicks we can get out of it, essentially. Now, on the Ben White thing, like, I would ask you this, right? I'd ask you this. Let's say you are a Michelin star chef. You work in one of the finest restaurants in the world, producing some of the finest culinary experiences and tastes that you can have. But as a boy, when you were younger, you wanted to work for McDonald's. It was a lifelong dream because you're a boy and you want to work for McDonald's. And then one day you get the opportunity, despite being a Michelin star chef, you get a chance to work for McDonald's and fulfill your childhood dream. Yeah? You're working for McDonald's and you think, oh, this is sweet. I don't need the money for this job. I don't need the money for this job. It's just the thing I want to fulfill in my lifetime. Because when I was a kid, I loved McDonald's. So you turn up on in your part-time job at McDonald's, you start flipping some burgers, and then some fat twat comes up to you, some sort of boss-like figure, and starts having a go at you, going, "Oh, I hear you're a Michelin star chef. I hear you don't like eating dirty food. What's that all about?" And tries to embarrass you in front of all the staff. And the worst bit is, it's not even Ronald McDonald's that's giving you the bollocking. It's the Hamburglar. You're taking shit from the Hamburglar, and you think to yourself, do you know what? I don't need this. I don't need this job. I've already got my job as a Michelin star chef. I'm going to quit. Right now, the reason why I say this is if you went to a job that you didn't need the money for, and someone started trying to bollock you in front of all the staff, would you stay and stick it out? You would not. I know I wouldn't. The only reason why I'd take shit from my boss is because I have to. Right? That's the only reason why I do it. So I don't understand the hysteria around this. I don't understand the hysteria around this. But Jason Butthurt and Henry Winter really got upset about it and started riling up the fan base and creating new stories about it, about things that don't really matter anymore and widely regarded as forgive and forget, and who really gives a shit. The only question surrounding Ben White, which would have been the relevant one, the only question is, can he actually play? Is he what he was 2 years ago? The answer to that can easily be discussed. Arsenal fans will even tell you he's not where he was 2 years ago, when he was, I would say, in the top two right backs, certainly in the Premier League, and if not, in the top five in the world. He was an awesome right back, and we hope, as Arsenal fans, he gets back to that level again. That's the only discussion to be had, really. But no, Henry Winter, Jason Butthurt, clickbait babies, all like, I wonder if, let's just put this shit out there. And look what happens. He now comes on, plays for England, and he gets roundly booed. Now, some will say some of those England fans would still have remembered it and they still would have booed him. Maybe they would have done. Maybe they would have done. But if you've got a whole media campaign for a week talking about it and it's at the forefront, not even subliminally would you be affected by that. It's just there. So this whole thing is being a complete waste of time, a complete hit job, and it is the reason why England players struggle in the England shirt. A lot of you watching won't care about England. Absolutely fine. I happen to because I live there, right? And I want them to do well. But many, many players have said in the past, many have said, half the battle is with the media. So well done. Jason Butthurt, Henry Winter, former good journalists. Well done, you bunch of plebs. Now, I mean, after the game, you haven't got to look that far to understand what actually is going on in the England camp. Now, when Ben White scored, Harry Maguire had his arm around him, was proper giving him the good ones, giving him, well done, mate, smiling, happy, little head rub, all that sort of stuff that you want. They were really, really happy for him, which tells you everything you need to know about the England camp. Henry Winter, you buffoon. Honestly, it's really, really, you can tell it's really got my goat. This one, more than any football story, I think, in the world ever, that I've ever seen of stupid football stories has really got my goat. Harry Maguire went on to say after the game, on Ben White, he said, "It's a bit crazy. Scoring the first goal, I thought he was brilliant when he came on. I can't say anything about the defending for that penalty. If it was me in that position, I'd be attempting to block the shot as well. That's what we've got to do. That's a soft penalty." All right. And then he went on to say he's been good all week, a big smile on his face, and he's brought energy to the camp and got his rewards tonight with the goal. And I thought he was brilliant when he came on. And there was pretty much similar words to the effect by Tuchel, who said, "We have to protect our players." He said afterwards, "We have to protect our players." And what are the media doing? No, 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 prod. Prod, 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 more. Give us more. Please, sir, we've got a dying medium. We don't know how to sell papers anymore. It's just extraordinary. Just extraordinary. Good morning to G-Dog, who's in the chat. What's up? Just remember to join. Hey, G-Dog, at least you did, my buddy. At least you did. Well done for joining. 9 a.m. This guy's dedicated, man. G-Dog, you're a good guy. Good morning to you, sir. How you getting on? You've just missed me going absolutely losing my shit about the Ben White thing. I don't know if you saw it, mate, but you really got my goat. Really got my goat. You can always rewatch it later if you missed it. Or there's always the podcast for those of you that are joining us late. But yeah, thanks for joining us, man. G-Dog said, glorious that Ben scored, wasn't it just? Wasn't it just? Slightly took the veneer off it with the penalty at the end. But do you know what? At least he had his moment, and I'm glad for that. Well, that was the bad news of the night. And then there was more bad news. It just doesn't get any better for Arsenal. Nonny, here he is. Nonny, pictured in a knee brace, hopefully precautionary. Subbed off on the 38th minute for a clash that wasn't really, there was nothing in the clash that was necessarily like malicious. We'll come to that in a minute because that game was not played in good spirits, I would argue. He was subbed off in the 38th minute. He was seen afterwards in a knee brace. And all you got to ask yourself is, why? Why? I mean, the whole game, I didn't even watch it all. I have to say, I was trying to, I'm going to let you peek behind the Wizard's curtain, not the Wizard's sleeve, mind. Last night, I was trying to put together a show about other things, right? It's an international week. There's not a lot going on. So you're looking around, you're trying to find what the stories are, make sure everyone's up to date. You want to know what's going on in the Arsenalverse. So I was looking around, I was putting some bits together, I had some ideas and things to do today. And I'd say within about 10 minutes of me having the whole thing planned out, all of this England shit happened, right? It's just completely changed the focus of the show, right? I'm not jealous. Never will be. I wouldn't sink so low. But I do feel for some of those that report on games where you've got a whole plan and then right at the last minute something happens, you go, tear that up. Tear that whole thing up. G-Dog says, he's been in the chat, he's jumped in, he says, never seen reffing that bad. Seemed bad, but that was unbelievable. Right, we're going to come to that because G-Dog, yes, very astutely points out about the refereeing. Now, even on my next note here, Agate, right? Agate should have been sent off for Uruguay. It doesn't matter, it's a friendly, right? It doesn't matter, it doesn't affect anything in the long term. Apart from the referee gave him 2 yellow cards and forgot to send him off. It's just such a clown show. It was an exploding clown car. The whole thing. The Ben White thing, the Nonny thing, the referee thing. I mean, who was the player? Foden. Now, I hold no truck with Foden. I'm not a big fan of his. You know, as a player, he's struggling at the moment. He's not been great for England. Not been great for Man City of late, and there's reasons why all of these attackers are struggling. But I've got nothing against Foden. That's all I'm trying to say. Nothing against him. The guy nearly had his ankle broken by Barcelona's. Is it Araujo? Nearly broke his ankle. Went in studs up on a stonewall red card in a friendly. And if you go and watch the clip, this is not an exaggeration or hyperbole to say he could have actually broken Foden's leg. What the flying fucktards are we doing in these games? It's enough for, like, all fans now are just sat there basically going, pull our players out. Pull them out. I don't want Rice and Saka anywhere near that squad next week. Get them out. Pull them all out. What is the point? These are meaningless friendlies. I know the international managers need a chance to see their players. But right now, right this minute now, right in the running of a season, get rid of it. It is the dumbest time of the year to have any type of international football. Case in point, there's the Argentinian forward, plays for Strasbourg. I think his name's Joaquin Panicelli. He's torn his ACL. He tore his ACL in a friendly for Argentina this week. He's now going to miss the World Cup. He's going to miss Strasbourg's run-in. They're trying to get into Europe in Ligue 1. And now he's going to miss the World Cup. For what? For a friendly. The guy must be absolutely gutted. Absolutely gutted. And this international break is just utterly pointless. Utterly pointless. Right, I'm going to just do a little bit of general news. Because I said I would. And there were other things that were happening last night. Maybe just give me a chance to calm down. How are you doing, G-Dog? You calm? I'm not calm this morning. What are you up to today, by the way? It's Saturday. What time are you getting on the Brew Dogs? Again, I think it's Brewdog hour now, right? So a little piece by Simon Collins. Always promote or plug Simon Collins. He reports on Arsenal. Does very good work. I mean, it's the Sun newspaper, but it's Simon Collins. So get yourself over there and read his article about Victor Gyokeres. He basically said Victor Gyokeres' hat-trick last night, or the night before, is a timely boost for Arsenal's trophy hunt this season. It is all the more remarkable that it came under Graham Potter, who did not give Gyokeres a single minute of Premier League action when at Brighton. But Graham Potter went on to say after the game, outside of the goals, because to score a hat-trick is one thing, overall his hold-up play and his defensive responsibility for the team was part of an incredible performance. Good stuff. Good stuff. Now, my question is, I've seen G-Dog's been in the chat again. G-Dog, I'm going to come to that comment, a very important comment that you've just put in there. Just going to put it into the Big Arse Opinions section in about 2 minutes' time, because it's a very important comment. Stay with me. Right, so, with the Gyokeres thing, we talked about this a lot. It's been a lot said. I have an opinion. I have an idea. Hear me out. When you look at the way that Gyokeres played in Lisbon, I played the other night, he needs space, he needs to be got in early. If we do this low, slow, build-up play that Arsenal do, by the time you get the ball to him, he's somewhere around the edge of the penalty area, surrounded by loads of defenders. Can we not go a little bit old school? Let's put Saka left, and let's put Martinelli on the right, okay? And let us have some old school, non-inverted wingers that can get the ball in early. Get the ball in early, get to bylines, cut backs, and get him some shots. He needs to shoot. I said this on the show yesterday. Let's get him some shots like it's his 30th birthday. This is my idea. I'm the only one that's come up with this. No one else has thought of this. It's just my idea. Also, it could be terrible. But basically saying, let's stop inverting the wingers. Let's go back old school. Let's go really direct. Get him in. Get him in early. Get some crosses in. First time finishes. Pow. That's what we want to see. Pow. You know, that's what I'm after. That's what I'd like to see. Anyway, just an idea. Just an idea. Okay, other news around the world. I thought this was interesting. The Athletic are reporting that Nottingham Forest are considering launching a formal complaint to the Premier League over the punishment given out to Chelsea over undisclosed payments. Chelsea were fined, blah, 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 blah. It goes to say, many within football regarded the punishment as being lenient, with the West London club avoiding any sporting sanction. Now, it sounds like a hate campaign for Chelsea. But in the it's really more about principles. It's about the principle of the thing, isn't it? Because Everton are looking at doing the same, or they're inquiring about it. Everton and Nottingham Forest have been deducted points for far lesser crimes or egalities, or whatever you want to call them, right? I would understand if I was them, and Leicester City had the same thing. I would understand them being super pissed off about this. I know Chelsea reported on themselves. They came clean about their heist. Well done them. But by the precedent the Premier League had set with the punishments towards Nottingham Forest and Everton and Leicester, there is a complete contradiction of what's happened here. And why is there a contradiction? Does it have anything to do with the £10.75 million that they've paid? It just doesn't make sense. And the Premier League have made a rod for its own back. And there's been a lot of rumours, and I have to say rumours, only rumours, speculation about Manchester City and their points deduction coming up this week. Loads of numbers flying around. I think a lot of it's probably bullshit. Wouldn't pay any attention to it. But you do have to ask yourself, with what the Premier League have done with Chelsea, have they positioned themselves of any sort of strength or force or stability or making sense when they come to deal with the City thing? No, they haven't. And I have to say, I think they've really, really dropped a bollock on the Chelsea thing. It's not just an anti-Chelsea agenda. It's just literally, it's one thing for the smaller clubs, another thing for Chelsea and their buying power and monies. Fixtures. Don't know if you saw this yesterday. Fixtures. So, there's been some fixtures moved around, and basically, this is really interesting. Man City will not play a single Premier League away game this season at 3 p.m. on a Saturday. The latest round of TV picks has moved their trip to Everton to the Monday night, confirming that none of their away games in the league this season will take place in the traditional slot. I think that's quite big. I don't know how tangible that is, but I think it's quite big, right? If Man City are always playing away, almost always under the lights, I think their running got just a little bit ramped up a little bit. So their game on against Everton is now on Monday, the 5th of May. No, 4th of May. Monday, the 4th of May, which is bank holiday, I think, at 8 o'clock. Right, that's where their game is. Everton at Hill Dickinson Stadium. Not the Hill Dickinson Stadium, at Hill Dickinson Stadium. 8 a.m., under the lights, boozed up Scousers, right? Arsenal's game against Fulham, the previous one, is on Saturday the 2nd. That's been moved from 3 o'clock to 5:30. And I think we go before Man City pretty much for the rest of the season. We're going ahead of them. So in that psychological battle, which people talk about all the time, the Nevilles, etc., there is an opportunity, if you believe in this sort of stuff, to put that pressure on City on multiple occasions whilst they're constantly going away to weird clubs at weird times. Not weird clubs, but, you know, weird fixtures. I wonder if that is an advantage. So that's your news. That's your news. Let's get to your big ass opinions.
Way too dry.
Yeah. Let's be having you. I did say, Giga Dog, I'd come to your very, very important point in the big ass opinions section. It is now the big ass opinions section, and now I'm going to come to your big ass, very important point. G Dog has jumped in the chat, and he has said, I'm going to buy some meat for the barbecue tomorrow. Going for lunch in Brighton. The Moses Itama fight. You have to forgive me, mate. I don't know anything about fighting. Or is that MMA or is it boxing? Everyone's going to be at the screens now going, "You idiot! What don't you know about Moses Itama?" So he's going to be watching the fight tonight. Lovely. Going for lunch in Brighton. I haven't been to Brighton for ages. I love Brighton. I haven't been down the lanes for a while. But yeah, that sounds nice. And a barbecue. Loves a barbecue, does G-Dog. And is watching the fight tonight. Guys, forgive me. Is that MMA or is that boxing? Which one's that? Is it a good fight? Is it worth me tuning in to watch people beat each other up? Best new British young heavyweight boxer. Oh my God, he's a heavyweight and I don't even know. That tells you what I know about boxing, G-Dog. I used to love it. I say I used to love it. I used to watch the big stuff, you know. I remember staying up until it was about 4 o'clock in the morning to watch Frank Bruno get battered by Mike Tyson in about 5 minutes, which we were all grateful for because we stood up all night playing a game called Atmospheres. Anyone remember that? Probably not. And we were absolutely knackered. And we go, just Frank, give up. And then bam, done. I think that's the last fight I watched was that David Hay one. It's David Hay? The one where he said he had his toe was hurting. He fought one of the give up, Eddie. I don't know boxing, but I hope it's a good fight, mate, and I hope you enjoy it. Best British young heavyweight boxer. I'll check him out. I promise I will, actually. I will check him out. I've got no problems with boxing. When I watch it, sometimes I think, yeah, bloody good. Wouldn't want to get in a ring like that myself, but there we go. Right, big ass opinions. Average Gaming -P4S. He's been in contact with us again. He's talking about how we get the attack going. He's a regular contributor to the show on YouTube. He jumps in the YouTube comments, which you can do as well. He said, remember, yeah, Can't wait to see combination play between Gyokeres and Dalman. Sounds interesting, and we'll be seeing a lot of it now because of Saka's abysmal performance this season. By the way, Anthony Gordon is outperforming him. Well, I checked this, and I don't know what metrics you're using, Average Gaming -P4S, and I appreciate you getting in contact. And this is not to start an argument, but I think on the metrics, Saka has 6 goals this season with 3 assists. Not good numbers. Anthony Gordon has 6 goals this season and 2 assists. This is in the Premier League. Also not good numbers. If we're thinking that Anthony Gordon's playing better than Saka, I would say we're not looking at the right numbers. There could be some other metrics that I'm missing there. And I would say check out Art de Roche's piece in The Athletic, which came out yesterday about Saka's form and how things have changed for him this season, specifically with how he's being tripled up on now. Triangles around Saka. That's how they're isolating him. It's very, very interesting. Art de Roche, Google it. If I remember, I'll put it in the show notes. But yeah, check that out. Thank you, Average Gaming PS4. Just going to jump back into G-Dog, who says, haha, that fight was awful. It was Klitschko. Yes, it was Klitschko. David Hay and Klitschko. And I think he won it on points, didn't he, hey? Or did he lose it on points? Can't remember. We were so disappointed. There was a lot of nothingness going on. It was like watching the Arsenal-Liverpool game this year when no one actually wanted to take a fight, like a swing or anything. Yeah, God, it was dull. It was fucking dull. Number 2 slide. This is A Wild 10 at A Wild 10, or if I'm pronouncing it wrong, could be Avild. Yeah, Avild. Avild saying. Had this gesagt. He said to say no one would be to be. Oh God, yeah. So this is talking about selling Miles Lewis-Kelly or Ethan Nwaneri or both. It's a post I put out yesterday, which is effectively, would you sell those 2 Highlanders if it meant getting Kvaratskhelia? A Wild has said, to say no would be to completely forget that. As well as Arsenal the club, which includes our fan community, there is also Arsenal the business. Both Ethan and Miles, from a transfer point of view, join the club for free, and as a young English players are worth a lot of money. If, as fans, we want to see some of the biggest players in Europe join our team, we need to spend a lot of money. The money has to come from somewhere. And unfortunately, as we don't play in a sky blue kit, that somewhere probably has to be the sale of young players. And the sad reality is that these boys are probably worth a lot more than we're likely to get for Jesus or Trossard. Would I be happy to see Ethan or Miles go? No. Would I understand it? Probably. Brackets, unless it's Miles to Man United. It's a very, very fair point. I've got another point on that now as well, and then we'll go over those 2 points together. Guna72 at Guna72, who also got in contact via the comment section on YouTube, which you can do too. He said, yes, absolutely. We've got Max Dalman as a wonder kid, and their price tag is pure profit, 100%. Nobody is bigger than the club. Not Saka, not Gabriel. I just think I've cut this off. He said, not Saliba, not Arteta, not anyone. Evangelos Marinakis is bigger than the club. Honestly, he looks like he ate this Emirates Stadium. Sorry, that's a low blow, Eddie. So, on that point, though, yeah, look, are we prepared? Are we prepared to see those players be sold? I'm not saying they definitely will be. I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm not an ITK. But I can see it. I can see one or, if not both of them, getting sold. I can see the fan base getting fucking annoyed about it, and then the fan base getting really fucking annoyed about it if they go on to do well. But at some point, we have to start selling our academy talent, whether we like it or not, to produce a sort of money that helps us dominate teams like PSG. Think about that, where their money comes from, how they have the highest wage bill in the world, spend almost the most. Manchester City, Bayern Munich to a degree, because they are Germany, effectively. If you want to compete with these teams, we have to be prepared to produce talent that is painful to let go. That would be my opinion. So I tend to agree with these points. No one else has come in saying, no, don't sell them. I have to say, of the comments I've seen, no one has seen, no, don't sell them, can't do. I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen people saying if they sell Miles Lewis-Kelly, I'm never supporting the club again. But when I've posed the question, people coming to me have not put that not put that opinion forward, which I would like to hear. If you're completely anti it, tell us why. Get in the comments section at Big Arse Breakfast on TikTok. As I said, we're currently in jail. I don't know why. Hopefully it'll be fixed soon. At Big Arse Breakfast on Instagram, at Big Arse Brekkie on X, and at bigarsebreakfast.bsky.social. You can also email the show. If you like it the old school way, it's show at bigarsenalbreakfast.com. That's show at bigarsenalbreakfast.com. Get in contact. And then FK Hanaja, FK of the Latte Firm over on Twitter. I thought this was good and important. He said, Steve Holland on the Ben White thing. Steve Holland will always be a coach who helped waste one of the most talented generations of English players. Yep. Yep. You got to remember at the time when Ben White was with that England squad, he was shit hot. He was shit hot. And he was for the next season and a half as well. Until he ran through so many walls for us. His hamstrings, knees, and all sorts got buggered by it. I thought Gareth Southgate did a really, really good job with England. I think he's, obviously he did. He took us to 2 finals. It took us further than we'd ever gotten in my lifetime. And he did a great job with the community aspect from an England fan point to the players getting along, to solving that whole cliquey thing, to getting the media on side. I think he did a really, really good job, except with Steve Holland. And the instant karma take of the day, right? Instant karma take of the day. Check this one out.
Instant karma take of the day.
Yeah, so the instant karma take of the day, if you're not aware of this, if you listen to the podcast, it's really a visual gag. Karma is spelled C-A-L-M-A. Karma. You know, in a kind of Ronaldo, karma way. So the instant karma take of the day, what we normally do is we take a take that tries to take down the temperature if we're really angry, someone that's come up with a level-headed, like through the middle kind of like, hey guys, chill out. Or if we're going like, we're going to win the league. If we're really hyped and getting ahead of ourselves, a take that just levels things off. This one today actually comes about another football club, which just happens to be Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah, why did I choose this? Fucking hell. Oh, God. Oh, my God, I can't help but find this so funny, right? Sam Wallace at the Telegraph has reported Sean Dyche, a potential candidate to take over at Tottenham for last 7 games. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Heaven have mercy. Heaven have mercy. Oh, Sean Dyche. Oh, Tottenham fans. What the? How do you go from European champions, in quotes, to Sean Dyche having to come to save you? We joked about this earlier in the season. I would say around the halfway mark, Arsenal fans were like, you might have to get Sean Dyche in, and there's a sort of emergency repair job. You keep going like this. Now it's a possibility. Now it's a possibility. What the hell has happened at that club? They've also said that they could potentially get De Zerbi as he holds out for the job in the summer, but he won't come early because obviously they could get relegated. Then there was talk of them putting in a relegation clause that if they got relegated, he could leave. So he could potentially come in for 7 games and then go. Sean Dyche, on the other hand, might just come in for 7 games. And who knows? They might have to tempt him with a full-time position. And look, this could come back and bite me on the ass, right? Sean Dyche could potentially save them from relegation and get them back up to 10th. You know, he could get the job and get them sniffing around the Europa League Conference League next year. For all I know. But to go from Pochettino getting you to a Champions League final, not backing him, sacking him, bringing in a washed Jose Mourinho, and Antonio Conte, who didn't want to be there and was just there for the money. Then you get Thomas Frank, who, do you know what? Whatever you think of Thomas Frank, he's obviously a good guy. It wasn't for him. And this cycle of managers has gone so far. Now Sean Dyche is a contender. And that is why that is the instant karma take of the day. So no matter what's going on in the Arsenal world, we are not being linked to Sean Dyche. Oh my God, that was funny. Right, I think I need to calm down. I'm going to go and get me a coffee. I'm going to start looking at the clock and figuring out what time's an acceptable time to have a beer. In the meantime, guys, we will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. There will be some more shit to discuss. I'm sure of that. If you could do us a gigantic favor, is to like and subscribe. We are trying to reach many more Gooners. We want you involved. The whole point of this show is for you to have your say. Come and have your say. We'll have a laugh. We'll piss about. We'll talk some bollocks, but we'll talk some good stuff as well. And we want you to like and subscribe so we just get out there, a bit more reach so everyone can come and have their say. Like G-Dog has this morning. Thank you, G-Dog, for getting involved as ever. We really appreciate you, man. Don't forget, we have the podcast as well. We have the podcast that goes out. It's actually going to go out in about 10 minutes' time. As soon as we, production team, wrap this up goes the podcast. So if you missed a bit of this, or if you're coming to this later, or you're like, do you know, I don't have time to sit down and watch it, have it in your ears. Stick it in your ears when you're on the tube, or you're driving to work, or you're dropping the kids. Dropping the kids off. If you're okay with your kids hearing words like fuck and bollocks and all that, then listen to it when you're doing the school run. Whatever. I don't know, man. Wherever you want to listen to it. And also, as ever, get involved in the comments at Big Arse Breakfast on TikTok and Insta, at Big Arse Brecky on X, and we're on Blue Sky. That's it, really. That is it for today. Thank you for being my therapy, you guys. I feel better. I don't know how you feel. But we will be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. G-Dog says, have a good day. And I'm sure he's saying it to all of you. Have a good day, everyone. 9 a.m. tomorrow. Bye-bye. Get your arse in gear.